All right. You guys ready for this? Let's bring in Amdal. Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Good.
Your name?
Deanne Martin-Soares.
And what is Amdal?
Amdal is a company that we assist elderly in their home, so people can stay at home.
Okay, so rather than taking grandma and putting her in a home somewhere else, you guys come to her home where she feels at home.
Yes, exactly, and give some assistance so she can stay in her home. And if I could just give a big plug or a thank you to all those family caregivers that are out there.
Yes.
This is National Family Caregiver Month, and you know there's lots of people that are caring for their loved ones, and it's not easy, and it's a thankless job at times. So thanks to all of you out there.
Yeah. How long has Amdal been around?
We're starting our 16th year.
And is Amdal based in Fresno?
We have an office in Fresno. It's been here since the year 2003, and it's located on First Street, over by the mall. And we have an office in Tulare and one in Atascadero.
Did you start Amdal?
Yes, I was hired by a group of investors to figure out a company, and thought, what the heck did I get into?
Because 16 years ago, this wasn't the norm, was it?
Companies were around. Some companies were around. You know, care has definitely evolved. I mean, you know, Home Instead, which is a big franchise. I mean, the philosophy was we're going to go with grandma. We're going to maybe read her mail and take her shopping and do things like that. But what's called acuity, which means higher level of care, is getting higher and higher in the home environment. So, you know, we have people that are bedbound. They need a Hoyer lift to get up. You know, there's all kinds of levels of care of people in the home, and it didn't used to be that way.
Okay. And so, when you're a family member and you want to be the caregiver, sometimes it gets a little bit more intense, right? Is that what we're saying with the?
Well, I think that it's difficult at times, and I think it's difficult for the loved one. And the reason for that is, you know, this is the mom. I'm the mom. I've been the mom all the years, and now all of a sudden it's a role reversal, and you want to try to tell me what to do, and you want to bathe me. I'm the one that bathed you. And so I think that family caregivers sometimes they butt up against that.
The emotional part.
Yeah, and you know, that's why I think it's thankless at times, because here you're trying to do your best for your loved one, and you know, they don't want to have any part of it. And I know I had an emotional thing years ago, but with my grandmother, I knew she was tired, and there it was during a family reunion, and I tried to get her to sit down. She had fallen, and so you know, I tried to do that, but I tried to do that in front of everybody, and I probably hurt her dignity.
Her pride got in the way.
Yeah, and so she got really upset with me, and you know, snapped at me in front of everybody, and I felt like an idiot. And I left, and she ended up coming and writing a note and left it on my front porch, and I don't want to get emotional, but anyway, it was very touching that she did that, and she apologized, and you know, we had lots of years after that, but it was very difficult, and I recognized that I had to, you know, use a sense of decorum doing something like that with my grandmother. So
what's different about Amdal?
Well, I'm actually a registered nurse, and my background was intensive care, and so I saw things on the other spectrum, where we poked and prodded people to the end of life, and sometimes quality wasn't the best. And you know, so I think that my registered nurse skills come into play. It's done with all of our care planning and things like that, and the focus that I try to make sure that our management staff has. And I just really think that, you know, we really try to focus on letting people stay at home and making sure that they stay autonomous and they can do as much as they want, and all those kind of things. So I think that helps, makes a big difference.
Now, you had mentioned earlier that you know, the staying at home, it makes the people feel just a little bit better, doesn't it?
Oh, sure, it does. I mean, and you know, and don't get me wrong, there's places, I mean, there's definitely a place for assisted livings and skilled nursing homes and things like that, but not every personality is the best in a place like that. You know, some people are not real social to begin with, and so they don't want to do a lot of social activities, right. And they like going and sitting in their backyard and looking at the birds, you know, doing things like that. And people, that's their home environment. They've known it for a lot of years, and it's sometimes it could really actually be detrimental to people to leave their home environment. So,
how many people do you serve in the Central Valley?
Oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 125 roughly,
That's a
give or
lot.
take. We cover everywhere. We're up in the mountains, up in Coarsegold, Oakhurst, and we're all the way down to probably Terabella, Porterville.
Wow.
So everywhere in between. We stretch over towards them. We've been as far as Avenal, Corcoran, those kind of places. So we pretty much wherever anybody, we can, if we can find staff that will go there, we can go to the home.
Now, you said it's kind of tough on the family member to be the caregiver. It's probably a little bit tough on the person receiving the care also. But when the nurse
Sure.
comes in, does that change things?
Well, I think that when you have somebody else that is more of a professional providing the care, usually, the person that's receiving the care, I'm not going to say that they never snap at you, because they do, but most of the time they don't, because it's different. It's not, this is more of a professional relationship. It's not my daughter trying to bathe me and that kind of thing. So I think it makes a difference when you have a caregiver, yes. And I think the caregiver, they give a family member a break, because all of you that are out there that are doing this type of care for your loved one, it's really important that you give yourself a break, because it's difficult, it's taxing, and you'll be fresher to be able to keep going longer if you get a break. So I think that's real important.
Okay. Now, are you guys hiring at all?
We're always hiring.
You're always hiring,
yeah,
aren't you?
we're always hiring, because we're always getting new clients, and then some of our staff leave us. I mean, our staff are personal care attendants, which is a CNA level staff. There are times that they're going on to nursing school, they're forwarding their career and becoming a registered nurse, and so we're always hiring.
I bet it's tough for them not to build relationships with these people.
Sure. We have guidelines and rules. I mean, but yeah, they definitely do. I mean,
You're seeing them all the time.
Yeah.
And at times probably gets a little comforting, you sitting around with them, kind of being their friend too.
Sure. Oh, yeah. And there's, our caregivers have a tendency. It's not a tendency. It's just natural. I mean, they get very close with people, and there are times, and again, there's lots of good family caregivers out there, but there's also families that could be better, so to speak, with their loved ones. And so sometimes our caregivers are the ones that are giving that caring, compassion, empathy when, someone doesn't really receive it in other ways.
Does this get paid for through Medicare and stuff like that?
No, unfortunately it does not.
Why not?
Because Medicare considers this custodial care, which I hate that word. We try to call it personal care. Custodial care sounds like it's a janitorial service. So Medicare covers what's called skilled care, so a skilled home health agency. So let's say you break your hip and you need a physical therapist, a registered nurse to come out and monitor. They're going to cover that type of care that's intermittent, but they're not going to cover what's considered activities of daily living. And activities,
which could be preventative of a lot of things.
well, sure, yeah, definitely. I mean, because activities of daily living are things like meal preparation, making sure you move around, walk, toileting, things like that. All things that could lead to bigger problems and in turn hospitalizations, which then costs a lot of money. And so, yes, I think definitely having some small preventative measures at home would help.
Awesome. Do you guys have a website?
Yep, we do. It's Amdal, AMDALINHOME.com, AmdalinHome.com. And you can like us on Facebook. We have an app now, so you can download our app.
How hip you guys are.
Well, I guess we're hip.
If people want to call you and talk to you, maybe get
Yep.
someone out to their house, they can do that?
Yeah, sure. We have our toll-free number, and it's 888-798-0008, and that goes into our Tulare office, but has the ability to get you care either on our Coast office or, Fresno, wherever.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Nice having you on.
Yeah, thank
now
you.
we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more music from Sinatra and Sax. Stick around.
That was great.